Hey y'all, it's Takara with 2020 The Magazine, and I am so excited to be sitting here today with Shouty with that silky southern drawl, or as most of y'all know, Mr. CeeLo Green. How are you doing?
Hey, darling, what's up? I'm good. How about you?
I'm good. Let me tell you, when I first started my magazine, you were in my top 10 list of people that I wanted to interview. So this interview came a lot quicker than I expected, and this is definitely not an opportunity that I'm taking lightly. So thank you for sitting down with me today.
Absolutely. You came highly recommended, and I most certainly made myself available for you.
Thank you, thank you. So now, as I told you before, we're doing a special Ode to Atlanta issue. I know that you're an Atlanta native, but other
Yes.
than home, what is Atlanta to you?
Um, Atlanta is Atlanta to me is holy grounds.
Mm.
It is as sacred as my mother's womb.
Oh, yes.
You know, um, it is as special as the product, that it, produced in me. Because, like, of course, everybody's a product of an environment, and I think, these examples that we've been able to showcase um, represent um, the regalia of and the renaissance of Atlanta. That's an even better word, And for those who are not familiar with the term and the context, what that means is um, it's very textured and varied. You know what I mean?
Right, right.
Um, there's so many colors, so many perspectives. There's poetic justice just all around. So Atlanta is an art canvas. It's a beautiful, a masterful motion picture.
Wow, I like that. So tell me, in the last 25 years,
I
how
was
has
gonna say,
Atlanta changed?
I said, you knew I was gonna say something cool, then.
And I love that. Love it. I wouldn't expect anything less. How
Okay,
has Atlanta changed, if it's changed in the last 25 years?
it's changed a lot. Um, Certain things for the better, um, and never for the worse. Um, but certain elements impede the process. So it's just a more of a moderate growth. You know what I mean? Like, um, and sorry.
That's
So
okay.
you still can't complain about those things because balance is righteous. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
There's some virtue, there's some vice, there's some good, there's some bad, there's some give, there's some take, there's some pro and con. And that is the divine balance of any place of being. You know what I mean? Um, so um, no, I mean, should I continue on more?
Oh, sure. You have the floor.
Well, yeah. I mean, so I uh, I can appreciate uh, the youth
Hmm.
um, and this generation. Um, I handle them with care, my opinionation, you know what I mean, uh, and my association, um, and you know, because they are ultimately our children. You know
Right,
what I mean?
right.
So sometimes, you know, it looks like a spoil because we were so rich in culture, you know what I mean,
Mm-hmm.
and left such a wealth of inheritance, you know what I mean, for
Right.
these children, you know. So I guess they kind of gotta revel in it somewhat. Hold on. Hello? This is an important notice from the social security. It ain't important. Yeah, sorry about that. So I think everybody should have like a preliminary period to play. You know what I mean? Have fun, be young. You know, sometimes equate to being irresponsible and out of the know. You know what I mean?
Right.
But the irony is, uh, an inheritance of such magnitude comes with a great deal of responsibility. And
Absolutely.
that's effective immediately. You know what I mean? So it's kind of a catch 22
Hmm.
because you have to cut to the chase, you know what I mean? And, you know, almost forfeit a period, you know, of growth and development. You're supposed to be able to have your fun, like, and it's their money, you know what I mean? Like it's their privilege. It's their art, it's their ownership. You know what I mean? They own a larger equity share than we ever did, you know? So, but again, yet another irony is like, you know, I'm just like, damn, with that ownership, you know, what do we then do? I mean, like, you know, are we then even more irresponsible, um, you know, with what we actually now own more of? You know what I mean? You think about the artists of yesteryear, Earth, Wind, and Fire. Like for example, just think about that.
Mm-hmm.
If an image of Earth, Wind, and Fire can come into your mind right now, you'll see a band full of colorful, beautiful black people, all costume, Afrocentric,
Yes,
Egyptian, or, if you're familiar with that, because you're young. So, are you familiar?
I am. I am.
Okay.
I'm not as
So,
young as I look.
all right. So, what I'm saying is, these were big productions. You know
Right.
what I mean? So
Right.
just imagine the overhead that it took to move that size of a production. A band of what, 14 people, maybe, you know what I mean?
Right. Right.
14 plane tickets, you know what I mean? Like 4 or 5 tour buses, you know, wardrobe, per diem, salary, hotel rooms, you know what I'm saying? Like super duper expensive. You know what I'm saying? You feel me? So
Mhm.
um, it's very ironic that, you know, our elders and our ancestors who really made the best music and left behind the greatest gifts of music we'll ever have, they just didn't reap the same benefits. So now, when you look at the industry in the way that it's run and dictated by the youth, being that they're coming about in the technology age, you know, the profit margin is through the roof. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I mean? So I would love to see our young make that money look good. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
So
Absolutely.
so that's my critique on it. You know what I'm saying? It's not that we don't have it, you know
Right.
what I mean? It's just that we have it now, but at what cost?
Right. Right.
You know
Right.
what I mean? Because sometimes the logic is, you know, people just want to have money so they can afford to spend it, right?
Right.
You shouldn't have to save it all. You should be able to have a little bit of fun. You know what I'm saying? But
Yeah.
be
Be
vigilant.
smart about it. Yeah.
That's all.
So now, 25 years ago, with the release of Soul Food, you were that youth coming up in Atlanta, coming into music. Did you think, or could anybody tell you 25 years ago that you would have been one of the pioneers of Southern rap? That you would still be performing with these guys today and still making music that your fans love?
Nope. I had no idea. Cause uh that same circumstance was applicable to us at that time.
Right.
When we in 1995, I was 17 years old. Excuse me, in 1994. When Outkast Southern Playalistic first came out, and I came on the scene. Um, we were kids. We were fresh out of high school. Some of us still living with our parents. I was living with my grandmother at the time.
Mm.
So I felt like we were too young. You know what I mean?
Wow.
To be fathers, let alone forefathers. You know what I mean? So
Right, right.
I had no idea. But we were very much so alive in the moment and seizing the opportunity. So we were very conscious and we were very cognizant of the shot. You know what I mean?
Right, right.
So we took our shot. And we were very responsible with it. You know what I mean? It was very what's the word? Concentrated. You know what I mean? And focused. Because at the time, you know, we felt like um, equal parts artists and activists. You know what I mean? A lot of our elders and idols are still alive and well, and we come from the civil rights. Atlanta is a, it, it is synonymous with civil rights.
Absolutely.
So those things were important to us: legacy, respect. You know what I mean? And we were fighting for, what we thought or considered to be the civil rights of Southern hip hop. We wanted equality. We wanted to be counted. You know
Mhm.
what I mean? But we also wanted to contribute
Right.
in all forms. You know what I mean? So we just have to prove ourselves. You know what I mean? Like as most regions do. And we fought. You know what I mean? And we fought to the finish. You know what I mean? And walked away. Walked away with victory.
Okay. The message is definitely translated in your music. Now,
Yeah.
you recently released some new music, and trust me, I downloaded it as soon as you tweeted about it. But tell me, I would say your fans know that you can sing. Like, we already know that. Would you say that your new music is a reintroduction or a reinvention of yourself as an artist?
No, I think to be totally honest, I'm kind of circling back around the sun for maybe like a third time. I think you know what I mean.
Uh-huh.
Um, I've been here before. You know what I mean. People, and I think sometimes you know, even when we become so self-aware, you want to surprise yourself. You want to dig a little deeper. You want to, like it's always, um, you know, a, um, about self-discovery and introspection, um, and being whole. You know what I mean? You want to do you want to do two things. You want to do what you can, and competitively, you want to do what others can't. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So no one in modern times would dare, um, you know, produce and record and release an album such as this. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know if they could. You know what I mean? I don't even know if they've been alive long enough to appreciate the
Ah,
reference or the nostalgia. You know what I'm saying?
right,
But
right.
but I'm still young. You know what I mean? I'm still young enough to be relative and to be current, um,
Absolutely.
and be a threat. You know what I'm saying? You
Yeah.
see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Uh, So, but I'm old enough to where I was exposed, to our mothers and fathers' music. You know what I mean?
Right, right.
And I grew up, in a Southern Baptist household. So I
Mhm.
grew up, with more than enough gospel and blues and rhythm and blues
Right.
and all of that. You know what I mean? So, um, yeah, I just feel sometimes that I'm more so not just a rapper or a singer or a writer. but I do feel like an author. I feel like an artist. I feel like a painter. I
Yeah.
feel like I feel like an instrument. I feel like a medium. I feel like a shaman. You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
Uh, and I feel like I can summons uh, spirit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Uh, to be celebrated in song. You know what I mean? So I feel like when I'm doing something, it's an out of body experience for me. You know what I mean? But just the mere fact that we're doing it in real time makes it modern. It makes it amazing. You know what I'm saying? You feel me?
Yeah.
Um, and then also, these standards have to be set, or these gestures and leaps of faith have to be made in order to reinstill the faith and the fundamental, you know what I mean, like at our core, raising the appreciation again in the people by making them aware of what we're capable of. So
That's right.
I always dare to do something different because I'm so accessible, I'm so known, I'm so cool, I'm so comfortable, you know what I mean? That, in Atlanta, everybody know me. You know what I'm saying? Like I just left Green Brown Mall.
Wow.
my neighborhood. You know what I mean? My mother owned a store in Greenbrier Mall. I went to Bunch Middle School right around the corner. I went to Thorough High School. I lived in Kings Ridge Apartments. I lived in English Colony. I lived in Greenbrier Commons. Everything right there. I mean,
Yeah.
so I'm such a homeboy
Hmm.
that I have to uh, shop and satisfy. You know what I mean? Anybody that becomes too complacent with me, or themselves.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So that's what it's about. It's just about the dare. I kind of also feel like a daredevil, if you will, like Evil Knievel or something like that.
I can see that.
So I feel like, all right, what can I do to set people free? You know what I mean? Because it's still about a revolution. It's still about movement, progression, forward motion, evolution. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Um, all of that. So all of those fundamental essential oils are in everything that I'll attempt to do. And your only confrontation will be the trifecta of a win, lose, or a draw. That is your only opposition or obstruction in the way. You're gonna have to deal with that three-headed monster, you know what I mean? Like every time you attempt to be expressive, you know what I mean? A win, a lose, or a draw. So that's all I'm ever really concerned with, if I'm concerned with that. You know what I mean?
Right.
Um, so now I'm at a point to where I've done enough, but I've still got more, you know what I mean? And now, at a certain age, and point in your life, I mean, I'm at I guess something of a midway point. I'm 45 years old this year. So, I'm like, man, let's get busy on a daily basis, man. Like let's immortalize ourselves, in ideal, you know what I mean? Like, and in intellectual property, we're
Hmm.
creating, we're supposed to be building something, birthing something every day of the week.
Yes.
You know
I
what I mean?
agree.
Sometimes you have to use mortality as your motivation. You have to realize and embrace the fact that you don't have forever to do it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
That's right.
so that has a great deal. But then again, that has a great deal to do with it. But then again, danger is kind of fun now, isn't it? So that goes back to the daredevil thing. So the people I feel like who have the strongest bond of affinity for me are those people who are not waiting on me to play it safe, but waiting on me to survive another stunt. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Right.
And not just for the entertainment, but for the enlightenment and empowerment of people. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I feel morally obligated. You know what I'm saying? Like I have to do it. I have to do these things. They come to my mind. I sometimes that I mean, imagine the pain and ailment of having that, the weight, uh, you know, of a vision, of a feeling, of an emotion, um, internally, but not having an outlet. I mean, can you imagine
Hmm.
how somebody could implode with something like that? You know what I mean? Like,
Absolutely.
um, so my cup runneth over. So like I'm abundantly blessed. You know what I mean? So, when that is the case as it is, I know that it is my duty to be a blessing to other people. You know what I mean? Because, you know, I have a lot.
Listen, as a long-term fan, we appreciate that. And I appreciate
Yeah.
the fact that you said you're an artist. For me, I'm a very visual person. So I was playing the album in my truck the other day, and I told my sister, I said, just listening to it, it takes me back to Saturday morning, my mama cleaning up the house. And I said, this is the kind of music that makes you want to clean, that makes you just want to smile and dance around the house while you're getting it cleaned up and smelling good and getting ready for whatever guests you might have come through. Like, that's that kind of music. That's the music that you gave us. And
Well,
so I wouldn't expect anything less from you. I wouldn't.
I'm so glad that you can appreciate it and be able to kind of like associate and identify with it in that way, because that's exactly the way that it feels to me. Because if you think about it, this quarantine has been like 6 months of Saturday mornings.
Yes. Yes.
I mean,
Yes. Days
we've
just
been doing everything, we haven't done in years. I'm talking about Uno, Monopoly,
yes.
Clue,
Yes.
Sorry.
My Spain's game has gotten so much better during the quarantine.
You know what I'm saying? Sitting around at the big table, eating, cooking, walking around. Like I have a ranch, you know what I mean? So I'm like on like 10 acres or so of land. So go out and walk the yard and,
Yeah.
all kind of just cool stuff that kind of seems cliche. It's like, or we just literally don't have the time to do it. So this album came out in a really unique time where people were still enough to
Yep.
not only hear the album but really listen to it. You know what I mean? And it's supposed to be a blessing in that way. It's supposed to be that old thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
It feel good.
Definitely.
It just feel like family. You know what I mean? It ain't that heavy. It's just love. You know what I mean? And it's precious.
Absolutely. Now, we've seen you on The Voice, Mass Singer, even Marriage Boot Camp. What's next? Like, are we going to see you more on our TV screens, possibly on the big screen? Is the TV thing going to be your new thing, or what's next as far as that?
Well, you know me. I'm kind of like I be want to do it all,
Uh huh.
but the only thing, you know, that's the measuring stick of manhood, how well you can multitask. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So, I can say adulthood. You know what I mean? But a lot of the times you can't do a lot without something suffering.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I guess I just reserve my energy and attention for what I can really, really uh, be good at. You know what I'm saying? Be great at. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Um, because you know they're all great opportunities. You know what I'm saying? So you want to match that work. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Um, so you don't want to be good with a great opportunity. That's you
Hmm.
digress. You know what I'm saying? You feel me? You want to be greater than the great opportunity.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, before I let you go, I promised my daddy that I would tell you. He said verbatim, your rendition of Mary Did You Know is by far the best he's ever heard. And it is now like our family go-to Christmas song at our Christmas dinners. Like, we have to start with that. And then we got to start singing it. And it's just like for us, that solidified who you were. I shouldn't say for us, more so for the old heads. That solidified who you were as a singer. As far as I would say the feeling that people get when they hear your music, from my parents to even my grandparents, like just hearing that song. I remember when my baby's kindergarten class performed a dance to it, there was not a dry eye in the auditorium. So he told me to be sure that I let you know that. And I will say during this time of uncertainty with Corona and everything else that's going on, I hope that you and your loved ones stay safe. And I said to myself that I'm believing God before it's all said and done, before you guys decide you're not going to do it again or anymore. I hope I get to see another Goody Mob concert. I saw y'all when y'all came to Charlotte last year, and I didn't want it to end. So hopefully I'll get to see that again. If not, I'm looking forward to seeing Mr. Calloway live, but just some live music from you. That's what I'm looking forward to.
No, all of that, man. We're working on a new Goody Mob album right now. So
Get out. Yes.
it don't stop. You mean like
Yes.
send your family my love. I'm really proud of that album and that great opportunity, because not a lot of black artists are kind of like, to be able to record those Christmas covers is almost like a membership club. You know what I mean? Like, they don't let everybody do them. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So you can't just bust out and be like, I'm gonna do a Christmas album. You can't do it.
Right.
It has to be sanctioned in some regard. So
Right.
it was a compliment to be acknowledged in that way, and I was able to, really execute it. And yeah, I've heard that so many times. I don't know what it is about that record, but it is special to people,
Oh
and I
my
hear it
gosh, yes
all
it
the
is.
time. That's the one, boy.
Yes.
So, yeah, I think sometimes I get the best results when don't even really be trying hard. I wasn't trying hard. I mean, like, I just knew that the production of this rendition of it, it just felt so serious. I mean, like, so I took it seriously, and it translated. You know what I mean, and I was sincere. So that's how you got to be. So thank you to you and your family. Tell Pop I said it's happening, and I got you on the new Good Bob and Thomas Calloway live stuff. I'm so ready for this COVID nonsense to be over with. I'm
Yeah.
talking about don't get the cure, don't kill nobody. You
Right.
know what I'm saying? Like, come on, Bill Gates, don't hurt nobody.
Right.
Just
That part.
come on. So let everybody live, man. We just want to live in peace, baby. That's all.
That's it. That's it.
Yeah.
That's
Life
all.
could be something. Y'all already got so much goddamn money. Jesus.
Okay.
What else do you want,
Right.
man?
Right.
That is real. Lord. Okay.
All right. Well,
There
thank
you
you
have it.
so much for taking the time to sit down with me. I appreciate you as a fan. 2020 fans, I'm sure, appreciate you. And we look forward to the opportunity to sit down and chat with you again soon.
For sure.
Thank you. You be blessed.
Thank you.